Hey girls, I have to admit, my nails are in a terrible state right now. They're in such a state that I'm even ashamed to show my hands. But you know what's most frustrating? I constantly receive messages from you asking me to show how to do a perfect French ombre. And on a nail plate like mine, it's practically impossible. But I'm not giving up. I'll share with you secrets that will help restore even the most damaged nails and create a stunning design. You'll be amazed at how smooth and natural this transition from white to pink shade will turn out. And most importantly, the coating on these nails will last for a very long time. So let's not waste time. Let's get started. First, we'll assess the nail plate to understand which base coat to use as the foundation. The nails, to put it mildly, are completely wrecked with many damages. The plate is peeling after I just ripped off the previous coating, which you should never do because it leads to what happened to me. The plate is now very soft and thin, and it needs to be revitalized. Will the new coating hold on these nails? I'm not sure because the situation is truly critical. But I do have a base that should help fix this, and I hope we can save the nails. Usually a nail technician's hands are considered their calling card, but right now I just want to hide my hands so no one sees what I've done to my nails. At first I was hesitant to show this, but I simply must show you how to work with and manage such a nail plate. First, we'll start with a combo manicure. We push back the cuticle to work on the fold with an e-file. You can do this with a wooden stick or a pusher, whichever you prefer. The fold needs to be opened up completely so that there are no adhesions left because the bit will start to drag in those areas and you could end up with some overfiling. Next, I use a nail file to lift the scales so that the base adheres well to the nail plate. Don't press too hard on the file to avoid further damage to the nail plate. If you're a beginner or self-taught, it's better to use a 240 grit buffer. Buff the surface so that there are no glossy areas left, because where we don't buff, there's a high chance of lifting. Many beginners miss this point and don't work well along the sidewalls and in the sidewalls, so pay attention to this. We're not touching the length now as we'll be strengthening the nails with gel. Those who watch my videos carefully know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't seen the video about nail strengthening yet, I'll link it in the video description. Be sure to watch it because it's simply a bestseller in terms of usefulness. Moving on to the e-file, I'm using a flame-shaped bit with a red band. We work at 10-11,000 RPM and process the area under the cuticle. It's important to pay attention to the angle of the bit relative to the nail plate and cuticle to avoid overfiling and to clean everything thoroughly. If you want a detailed video about combo manicure, be sure to let me know so I can decide whether to make material about it. If there are many of you interested, I'll definitely film it, where we'll dive deeper into all the nuances. I always file the sidewalls with a bit as well. I don't cut anything with nippers because this only makes them grow back thicker, while the e-file does it delicately and only removes the layer of rough skin. Make sure to regularly brush off the dust so it doesn't get stuck in the sinuses and so you can clearly see what you're doing. Beginners often mistake the dust buildup for uncleaned pterygium and end up overfiling. After working on the left side, switch the e-file to reverse so it rotates in the opposite direction and work on the right side. I always start with the left sinus, then clean under the cuticle and move towards the right sinus. Don't forget to file the sidewall on both the left and right sides, as the skin tends to build up well on both. When working on the sidewall, just pull it taut. It makes the work much easier. Next, we trim the cuticle. I'm using scissors, but feel free to use the tool you're most comfortable with. My scissors have a curved tip, which is super convenient because you don't have to twist your hand too much to finish the cut, unlike with straight-bladed scissors. This is especially noticeable when you're working in the sinuses. Now, we need to chemically prepare the nail plate before applying the base. First, we thoroughly degrease the plate, removing skin oils and dust residues. Then we apply a dehydrator to remove excess moisture. I'll note right away that it's not necessary to use it on a normal nail plate. It's enough to degrease well and apply a non-acid primer. But if the client or you have hyperhidrosis, which means your hands sweat a lot, then a dehydrator is mandatory to remove moisture from the nail and prevent lifting. But this is a topic that could use its own dedicated video though. After the dehydrator, I apply a non-acid primer and give it time to evaporate and take effect. Usually this takes 20 to 30 seconds. Acid primer requires more time, but I use it very rarely. Now let's move on to the miracle base. Why do I call it a miracle base? Because it can restore even the most damaged nail plate. Then, using a flat brush like this one, apply the base to the nail in a medium layer. Not super thin, but not for alignment either. This is the air base from Fox and it contains wollastonite, a mineral that includes metal, magnesium and potassium permanganate, which replaces calcium. On a damaged nail plate, wollastonite acts like a building material, filling in cracks and damage, thus restoring the nail. Due to this mineral, the base has a slightly cloudy tint, so it needs to be thoroughly mixed with a wooden stick or spatula. Since it's quite thick, when applied in a medium layer, it doesn't flow anywhere, making it comfortable to work with even for beginners. And don't worry about the bubbles that form during mixing. They will all pop during curing, and you won't even notice them. When applying the base, make sure it completely covers the nail plate like a shield with no bare spots. After application, cure it in the lamp for 1 minute. Since our nails are thin, they definitely need to be strengthened with gel. However, we also want to create a French ombre, and such a thin and damaged nail plate won't handle extra volume. So why not combine these tasks and create the gradient directly with the gel? This way, we'll kill two birds with one stone, achieving both the ombre and strengthening the nails. We start from the tip, brushing it with milky gel starting from the middle of the plate. Come on, girls! Who knows what strengthening technique I'm working with now? Let's put thumbs up or right. Then take a drop on the brush, place it on the center of the nail and distribute it by pulling towards the free edge. Tilt the finger downward so that the gel flows towards the free edge of the nail. This is necessary to ensure that when we file, the thickness is revealed and the tip is properly strengthened. If you notice there's not enough material, grab a bit more gel on your brush and spread it across the nail plate. Don't forget about the side walls. There should be enough material there to ensure the tip is evenly strengthened. Do the same with the rest of the nails and cure in the lamp for 1 minute. Next, take the gel in the color you want for the gradient. In our case, it's a soft pink liquid gel from D&K in shade 017. It's not overly pigmented but still fully covers the nail plate. For this type of ombre, it's important that the gel isn't too pigmented, because if there's too much pigment, the transition won't be smooth. After curing the milky gel, we don't file anything. We just remove the sticky layer to avoid conflict between materials. Then we cover the entire nail plate with this pink gel, but in a very thin layer, just enough to make the nail wet. This will allow the drop of gel to distribute more easily. On this uncured layer, place a bit of gel near the cuticle and spread it out as you would during alignment. There's no need to try to make it perfect now, as we'll be filing anyway. We cure in the lamp for a minute and do the same with the rest of the nails. Thanks to the fact that we first applied the milky gel, we have height at the edge, and the pink gel will no longer flow to the tip. Thus, we achieve a smooth and beautiful gradient from pink to white. As far as I know, this design is also called baby boomer or French ombre. Don't forget to flip the finger after alignment to ensure the gel spreads correctly. And we cure in the lamp for a minute. After curing, be sure to remove the sticky layer so that our file doesn't get clogged. The first thing we do is trim the length to reveal the thickness of the free edge. Then we even out the side walls and file off excess material so as not to overload the plate, and our nails don't look like pies but are even and beautiful. Hold the file exactly 90 degrees relative to the plate so that it doesn't tilt on the edge, and avoid dark-like movements because the nails will be round when viewed from above. At the end, refine the lower side walls and smooth out the corners to achieve a squoval shape. Not quite a soft square and not quite an oval, but something in between. After filing, carefully remove the dust with a cloth soaked in degreaser, and already now you can see what a smooth gradient we've achieved. We cover the nails with top coat and cure in the lamp for no less than a minute and a half. As always, my top coat is my favorite from Edlen. This ombre technique is unique because you won't need a special brush or an airbrush. In fact, you can't achieve this level of smoothness with an airbrush or brush. There will always be some grains or bristle marks left, but gel gives us exactly the smoothness that can easily be called perfect. The same result can be achieved with bases. Just remember, the material should not be too pigmented. And here it is, our result. To create such an ombre, you'll only need good gel and knowledge of the strengthening technique. And since we're at it, I am giving you a whole 5 techniques that will not only help you make a perfect gradient, but also teach you how to strengthen different types of nail plates in different ways. There we reviewed all the pros and cons of gels, and I also tell you about a secret gel for nail armoring. This video should be on the screen. Write in the comments how you like this ombre variant, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'm saying goodbye for now. See you soon, beauties!